Hello everyone, welcome to Weight Loss Weekend. If you haven't watched my series, please go back and follow it on YouTube. I just want to thank you. This is the first time I'm doing it live, so I'm super excited. Gonna try that and see how it goes. Hey, I've had a lot of comments both on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the things I've been posting to about the keto diet. So this weekend, I'm gonna go back and refresh on the keto diet and talk about that and its benefits and its pros and cons. So the keto diet is really about eating lots of protein and a good portion of fat instead of carbohydrates. Now let's talk about carbohydrates because there are several stages of the keto diet that you can do. Okay, there's the extreme, okay, which means no carbohydrates whatsoever. Or as little as you can. It's almost impossible to get none, but as little as you can. Then there's the medium. So you're doing a fair amount of carbohydrates. And when I say fair, we're talking about under the amount of protein you're doing. All right. And then you're talking about kind of a low keto diet where you may be doing equal or maybe a little over on the carbohydrates. So there's different levels of this. Now, the principle is that when you get your body into a ketosis state, you burn fat. So when you take out all the carbohydrates in your body, it has nothing left to burn. Your body burns the carbohydrates first because it's your fast fuel, right? Now, what are carbohydrates? Because I smile being gluten intolerant, which I've explained in other videos, that, being gluten intolerant and carb free almost means no breads, no grains, little fruit to no fruit, okay? You want to keep it low glycemic fruit, which would be an apple, versus a high glycemic fruit is a banana or an orange. Okay, there's a difference there. Fruit has a little lower glycemic, but it does have heaps of sugar. At least your body is processing. That's what the glycemic is about. Okay, so the apple is one of the best fruits to choose. Some berries, strawberries are good, but you want to keep them down to a minimum, especially if you're doing a keto diet. If you're doing it strict, no fruit. All right, no tomatoes. You want to stick to non-starch vegetables, greens, and you're really only getting a couple servings of those a day. It's really low. Okay, so your carbohydrates, your grains are totally out. Okay, that means rice, anything with flour, so no cereal, no pasta, none of that. Okay, none of that. And you will see yourself, it takes about 4 days, especially if you're doing this strict, to burn all the carbohydrates already in your body. Now, once you reach that 4th day, the 5th day and 6th day, usually you're gonna have a massive headache because your body's going through a withdrawal of the carbohydrates. It's so used to burning carbohydrates, it goes through a withdrawal. And you'll get a headache as if you were addicted to something, you're not eating caffeine, you kind of have a headache. Now, on that day, they don't recommend it because it's not good for you to have too much. But usually when I'm doing something like this, I go ahead and allow myself to have some ibuprofen or, some Tylenol, or not the name brands, if Advil or whatever you want. It doesn't matter. That helps you get rid of the headache. You shouldn't rely on it, but sometimes you just got to make it through the day. It's also the day that you're the most irritated. You're the most tense because your body is looking for the carbohydrates. So you may be sensitive and emotion and that kind of thing as well. So be aware of that. And that can last up to 7 or 8 days. But usually it's about the 4th, 5th day, 6th day mark that those things happen. So pay attention to it. So we know what our carbohydrates are. Any sugars is a carbohydrate. So breads are carbohydrates because it's a complex sugar. Even some vegetables are considered carbohydrates. You're staying away from potatoes. You're staying away from any of your white vegetables. All of those things fruit go on a strict keto diet. All right. Now, when we go to a medium keto, now we're adding a little bit, maybe a couple, 5 strawberries a day. You want to make sure when you eat the strawberry that you eat the strawberry with the little head, the little green on it. It keeps the value of the strawberries, and strawberries can actually help you lose weight, burn a little bit more. Not much, it's not going to make a huge difference, but you can feel good about eating some strawberries. You can eat blueberries, high antioxidants, really good. Stay away from your grapes, that kind of thing. Manage those, okay? And then a low keto, you're obviously eating a lot more of those fruits. Again, you're still staying away from those grains. You're still staying away from potatoes. You may allow yourself some sweet potatoes every once in a while, but try not to. They're a little bit better, not great, and it's a once in a while thing, but you're still mainly eating only protein and a couple servings of vegetables a day. Okay, so what are the good things about this? Obviously, you're burning fat like crazy in your body. All right, you are having maybe a little bit of nuts, not heaps. Again, more than a handful, too much a day. And that I'm guilty as charged. Nuts are my downfall. I love them, especially a little roasted, a little salted, a little olive oil. This tastes good. But you want to limit those as much as you can, okay? And try not to do it every day. Cook your meat and a couple tablespoons of olive oil, that's good, or whatever oil you prefer. Coconut oils, you know, according to the Keto Diet, it's not bad. It all depends on what doctor you read, so look at that. Those are good things to work with, okay? And again, you're allowed to have a lot of healthy fats. You're allowed to have cheese. Now for me, like I've talked about in my other videos, going to see a doctor, knowing what my body can digest and can't digest, cheeses aren't so good for me. Again, it's one of my downfalls. Too many nuts, too much fat. I don't process it so well, okay? And I find this a really important thing in order to find your coach, find your person that can help you do this. And that's why I mentioned before to you that Sum Sanos coach. I think it's one of the best programs I've seen. I've worked with those coaches. I support those coaches. It is one of the best programs I've seen because it helps really establish good, healthy habits, especially something like keto, where you're so used to eating carbohydrates that now you've only shifted it to have just, protein really and supported by some fat. That is not so easy. And having somebody to support you through this process can really, really, really help you grow faster and faster. Anybody can do keto for a while. And I recommend setting a goal to do it for a certain amount of time. You're going to find massive amount of weight loss, especially at the beginning, and then you're going to go down to that 2 pounds a week, 1 pound a week as you move forward. But at the very beginning, that first week, a lot of weight comes off when you do keto, which is always really exciting. But the person then after the first week says, why didn't I lose those 8 pounds again? Why am I not losing the weight as fast as I did the first time? Your body needs time, okay? If you've lost that much weight that quickly, it's probably water. Make sure you do drink your water. Now let's talk about the cons about the keto diet. First of all, you're eating heaps of protein. Your body, that's a lot to process. Your kidneys, your liver, your body's working really hard here. So make sure you are drinking heaps of water. Okay, and it's not it shouldn't be a forever thing. Okay, it's not. It should be a part-time thing. But then you have what we call, you're being starved, all right? And you have the adjustment period of coming back to eating healthy carbs. Try to eat healthy carbs, stay away from more grains, eat more potatoes, that kind of thing. Healthy carbs, a lot more vegetables, that kind of thing. But because you're carb starved, your body wants it, so the minute you grab it, the minute you eat some, you kind of just plow into it, and then everything is back to normal, and you've already put on those 20 pounds you lost, and it's all downhill. Again, This is where a coach is really helpful. So like I've mentioned to you guys, the Sum Sanos program. So if you have that person that can support you during the transition, that can really, really change your whole thing about it. Make it more possible. You have somebody to help you hold yourself accountable to what you're doing, because you are ultimately in charge. Okay? So what will happen is you have to make that a little adjustment. Like that first week you come off, you may have one day where you get to have a potato or a sweet potato, and then you back off again. And so we're slowly introducing the next week, maybe 2 different days, you know, the next week 3 different days, and just a little bit each day. We're adding slowly and surely. It's actually each week 1 new thing, the next week maybe 2 new things, then you may go back to the 1 thing, then you go maybe to 3 things, and we slowly introduce this. So that way it's not a shock to the body, and the body goes, woohoo, I have all this energy, what do I do? Right back on the hips. So that's what we want to stop and from happening when we do a keto diet. Let's talk about the pros of the keto diet. Let's say you're a diabetic. My partner and I have coached people that were diabetic. In fact, one of his really good friends was extremely diabetic, and we coached him, and he's gone to the doctor. He has now lost over 75 pounds. The doctor said, you're like a miracle. You should go speak to people. You should go show people. Now, let me tell you this. He had diabetes from a child, you know, and it was a normal thing, and it was his way and his life. By changing to a keto diet, cutting out all those complex sugars, regular sugars, really taking it down, he is more healthy than he has been since he was 18 years old. And that's a powerful thing to do. That's a really powerful thing to take into your life and feel good about your life. I mean, wouldn't you want to have your life back and not having to take a blood test and all the time? That's powerful stuff. So it is a great diet for people that may be diabetic, people that are having a really hard time finding how to lose weight. You may not lose weight as fast as somebody else, and that's okay, that's normal. It's just staying with the process until you do. And you may have to be on that diet a long time. I know I said be careful, you want to watch your kidneys, but if you're seeing, you know, somebody who supports you and going to your doctor and checking on all your, you know, your vitals and all those things that need to happen, you're going to be in a safe place. So that's also the key, I think, for the long-term keto diet, and using that to your advantage. Now, do you have little cheat days? Everybody wants a dessert every once in a while. I get that, but that means you have to address to get back on it right away, okay? But you plan those, you think ahead, and we go back to the planning of dieting earlier in this series, you'll get it. So I hope that helps answer some questions about the keto diet. I hope that reminds you to go out and get your health coach, your weight loss coach. It reminds you to go talk to your doctor. But it is a great program. I've done it many times. It's the program that I really go to. I may use other programs that supplement it that are kind of the same, such as, you know, Isogenics is similar in that sense, that you're using basically a low keto is basically what it is, and you're kind of equal to medium keto diet. Your carbs are about equal to your protein. Oh, there's one thing I almost forgot to mention, is how much protein you should eat to keep your muscle mass up for your keto. So the way a lot of people look at it is whatever your half your weight is in pounds, you eat that in grams of protein, okay? So if you're 120 pounds, not that you would need to lose weight, you would eat about 60, and that's a lot. Okay, that's you'll find that's a ton of food. So double check my numbers. You can Google how much protein you should eat to keep your muscles out. I recommend doing that for your weight, but that's basically the method I use. Same with ounces of water. The amount of water you should drink, half your weight in ounces. So if you're, let's say you're, 175, you're going to cut that in half and put that in ounces of water. So pretty simple math, makes it easy for you, but it's still a heap of protein to eat, which is really hard on your insides. And that's why, again, going to your doctor, having your support coach, always good. If I haven't stressed that enough in this video, please take a moment and hear it one more time. And that's what I wanted to say for our weight loss weekend. Thank you for sharing this video. I appreciate being live with you today. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll talk soon. Thank you, everyone.